How's it going, everyone? My name is Michael SK, and welcome back to welcome back to Chaos Child. The last episode was a mix of, I guess, good old slice of life, just chilling, hanging out, that sort of thing, some cutesy stuff, and then ended with a dragon dinosaur-looking creature, which is really out of place, coming out and eating somebody, like straight up, out of one of those portal devices that was called into our world from this lovely video game. So definitely a lot going on in the last episode, and I guess now I'm starting to get the idea as to why people say that this route is just nuts. Like, sure, Chaos Child is crazy, and I'm assuming so is Chaos Head. It's got chaos in the title. I'm not really smart, but I can kind of piece 2 and 2 together. Or is it 1 and 1? I don't know. See, I'm not that smart. The point is, this is kind of a different type of craziness. There's like a full-on beast that seems to be roaming the streets now, which is a little different than delusions becoming real and people wielding some swords that normal people can't see. Did I sum that up right? But anyways, a minute later, I booted up ESO2 and saw that Nightheart was logged in as well. I decided to talk to him immediately. Oh, here we go. Time for some quick talking. Did you see the news this afternoon? Not in real time. I saw what got uploaded to the net later. At-chan's having a festival. Yeah, I'm sure. Things are starting to go the way they did 6 years ago. Remember the DQN puzzle? Read the wiki. He was enjoying all this. What an asshole. No, but I guess I was the same when I was following the return of the new generation madness with the newspaper club. Jokes aside, that news broadcast was bad news. This isn't just about Shibuya anymore. The committee might take action. Who? The Committee of 300. You know him? No. Basically, they're a vast organization that controls the world from the shadows. Sounds like bullshit. Yeah. But it exists anyway. And they might take action. Might be a war, possibly. A war? Don't know what you mean. You might be happier not knowing. I'll look into it on my side. If something comes up, I'll tell you. What are the chances it's because of Kazuki's power? The hell else could it be? You saw that portal device. Yeah. Just so we're sure, the portal device didn't move. This is a second one, right? Yes, I just had a friend go look for me, and it was still there. Gotcha. So do you think it's possible we'll see the woman who attacked us again? You mean she might not really be dead? I get it, you're seriously thinking she might have been sent to another portal device. No. Isn't it possible that there was just a second portal that appeared on Monday night and we just didn't notice it? I know I said I was sure she was dead before because there was only one portal, but even if there were two, I can't imagine her surviving a teleport. If you could actually real boot something like that, it would be the greatest discovery in human history. I'd want it for myself. But that monster doesn't exist either, and it's out there. Huh, got me there. What the fuck, that ate the reporter ate a cop after that. It's the Flame Archdragon, duh. If it can make a dragon, it should be able to make a portal device. She might still be alive. Why not go look then? Find out how many portal devices have appeared in Shibuya. Find out if anything besides the F-Arc Dragon really booted. Or real booted. Oh, I can't help, by the way. Gotta grind in ESO2. Wow, those priorities there. Weren't you supposed to look into the Committee of 300? Yeah, obviously. I was trying to end things with a gag so this wouldn't get too serious. Sorry, but I'm not in Shibuya right now. If the committee intervenes, it's gonna get bad real fast. So I'm gonna spend my time on that. Tell Kazuki there's no need to play ESO2 for a while, lol. Huh, well shit. You suck, Nightheart. Well, why state that after he logged out? A vast conspiracy that controls the world from the shadows, huh? That sounded like bullshit. Even movies didn't have plots like that these days. Since there was nothing else I could do about that, I'd leave it to Nightheart. What was more important to us was the portal device.
調査か。
Kazuki was looking angrily at the log of my conversation with Nightheart. I gritted my teeth too. Even if we did investigate the portal device, what were we supposed to do then? If it was created by Kazuki, would we be able to destroy it or get rid of it? That'd be nice.
いや、それを含めての調査だろう。
Even if she couldn't control her powers, it was Kazuki who'd created it. She couldn't pretend to ignore it. There was even a dragon running around now. More people could die.
行くしかない。か。
Now, I'm sure people have already died to that. Like, there's no way that shit's just wandering around and not killing people. We might be attacked out of nowhere like we were before. That's why I hadn't wanted to leave, but I wasn't tough enough to just leave something that dangerous out there and hide in here forever. Wait, wouldn't that be the opposite? I ran to Harajuku and got a cell phone so I'd be able to keep in touch with the others, and then called Sarika after school.
ああ、タク、どうしたの？学校来る気になった？でも残念。今日は昼過ぎから休校になったよ。
休校？
渋谷が封鎖されちゃったでしょ？だから学校も。
そうか。お前は今どこにいる？
ラックスでお茶してるよ。こっちの方は封鎖されてないから。
ちょうどよかった。頼みたいことがある。
I told her I wanted to know how many portal devices had appeared in Shibuya.
私は別に手伝ってもいいけど。
なんだよ。
のんちゃんが危ないことはやめなさいって今目の前でプンプンしてる。
Damn, does she have to tell us this in every route we're on in this game?
っていう無言のプレッシャーをビシビシ受けてるよ。
そうか。
So Kirisu was with her too. And of course I could understand why she'd be mad. Just like Sarika had said, after the shocking incident on the news this afternoon, the police had sealed off Shibuya over the course of a few hours. The number of people on the streets was dropping fast. Supposedly, the National Diet was holding a debate about bringing in the self-defense forces. And of course, they still hadn't gotten rid of the portal devices or the flame dragon. Kirisu probably wanted to tell me that there was nothing an amateur like me could do. But this wasn't like the other investigations the newspaper club had done. I glanced over at Kazuki. She was looking down silently.
こんなこと言っても信じてもらえないかもしれないけれど、あの化け物が出てきたの、僕と和樹のせいかもしれないんだ。
どういうこと？
詳しくは話せない。とにかく調査の目的は単なる好奇心じゃない。あの装置とモンスターを何とかして消すための方法を見つけたいんだ。
そっか。
I guess that wasn't enough to persuade her. Or so I thought.
オッケー。のんちゃんは私が説得する。
本当か？
それとしんちゃんも連絡欲しがってたから協力お願いしてみたら？きっと喜ぶと思うよ。
ああ、そうだな。連絡してみる。
で、タクは花ちゃんと一緒？そっちは2人で行動するの？
ああ、そうするつもり。
じゃあ私は深センから渋谷駅の方へ向かってみようかな。のんちゃんとお散歩デート。
頼む。ただし、もしポータル装置を見つけても絶対に近づいちゃダメだからな。
オッケー。
それと日が暮れる前には家に帰るようにしてくれ。クルスにもそう伝えて。
オッケー。
本当に分かってるのか？特に尾上はマイペースに突き進んでいくところがあるからな。
Oh, trust me, I think she's gonna be perfectly fine.
そうかも。でもほら、私ってコソコソするの得意だし、誰にも見つからない自信あるよ。
それは知ってるけれど、とにかく注意して行動してくれよ。
Oh, Takuru, you don't know the half of it.
じゃあ報告は明日ってことでいいかな。
学校は明日も休みだっけ？だったら昼頃に部室に集合しよ
オッケー。
After I finished giving my instructions to Serika, I made the same call to Ito. When I asked for his help, he was a little too eager to agree. He seemed like he'd been really bored the past few days, and the frustration had been building up, he'd said. So I had him head north from Ibisu towards Shibuya Station. Once I'd finished telling him everything he needed to know, I hung up.
和樹、僕らも行こ
う。We decided to head from the dorm to the station, checking every back street and alley we found along the way. The first thing we did was head for the school. It was dead silent. There wasn't a single car. Not only were there no Hekiho students, there weren't even any pedestrians. Had Shibuya ever been this empty at any time since the quake? 6 years ago, there had been rubble everywhere, and I felt so alone as I'd faced what seemed like the end of the world. But this seemed different. It didn't seem lonely. It seemed strange. Kind of like how a lot of people, in the beginning at least, of the whole COVID pandemic, just straight up got off the streets. Except in America. The town was still pristine, but all the people were gone. It was like a ghost town. All the shops had their shutters lowered. They'd closed for the day, it seemed. Everyone had run off as fast as they could. I don't blame them. It made sense after what they'd just seen on live TV. We tried to pay as much attention to our surroundings as possible as we headed forward. We were especially careful at intersections. Excuse me. Another monster like that dragon could come rushing out of the shadows at any instant. If we ran into one of them, we wouldn't stand a chance. I could hear the faint sound of someone yelling into a microphone in the distance. Excuse me. I could see a patrol car in the distance, moving slowly. There was probably an officer inside the car, using his microphone to urge people to evacuate. The car was slowly heading toward us. If we stayed out here, the policeman would tell us we had to leave Shibuya. And that would be the end of our investigation.
和樹、こっちだ。
I ducked down a narrow alleyway so the car wouldn't find us. I felt like a criminal running from the police. And of course, if the portal device's appearance really was our fault, maybe that wasn't totally wrong. Oh shit, there's one right there, dude. We ran left and right through the maze of alleyways and finally came out in front of Parku. I gasped at what I saw there and quickly hid in the shadows. Kazuki wasn't as quick as I was, so I grabbed her hand and pulled. I ended up pulling her tightly up against my body with my arms around her. I quickly let go. Kazuki didn't seem bothered by it, she just adjusted her glasses.
今の見たか?
This time I quietly popped my head out to take a look. Ugh, what the fuck is that, dude? That's nasty looking. There was another portal device in front of Parku, and around it was 3 monsters. One was a yellow and black dragon. Was it a different colored version of the one that had eaten the reporter? Actually, it kind of looks like it. It doesn't have eyes, but it has those weird bumps on the forehead. Now that I saw it up close, I was astonished by its size. The other 2 were 2-legged giants covered in thick white fur, a little less than 3 meters tall. Their arms were as thick as tree trunks. Fortunately, none of them seemed to have noticed us.
Poison グッドラゴンとスノーリッチが2体かも。
どっちも円数2のモンスターか。
うん。
Kazuki nodded. It really did feel like I was looking at a computer model. It didn't seem real.
なんか臭いな。
I smelled something kind of rotten. It was a stinging stench that hung in my nose. I could see several red lumps around the feet of the monsters. I looked closely to see what they were and quickly realized they'd once been a human. Yeah. And now they were just bloody lumps of flesh. They'd been crushed, torn apart, and left there. And it was more than 1 or 2 people. There were at least 10 of them lying on the ground. When the number of portal devices had increased, so had the number of victims. Only then did I finally realize that the stench was coming from the corpses. Well, it took you that long to realize that? I thought you would have realized it once you saw the fucking corpses. Or the blood or something. It was so awful I wanted to throw up. I had seen the reporter die on the news today. It had been a shock, but it had also felt like seeing a movie. It hadn't seemed real. But this smell was different. It was all too real. It told me what I was seeing was real before my brain had even started to process it. But I couldn't just stand there in shock. I needed to continue my investigation.
これで現実化したポータル装置は3つ目だ。
Which meant it was safe to assume that there was a 4th and a 5th. How many of them were we gonna find? Ito might be fine, but what about Serika and Kirisu? Maybe asking them for help was a mistake. I hadn't realized Shibuya was so dangerous.
あれを消す方法あると思う。
Kazuki shook her head helplessly.
消せればそれが一番いいかもだけど。わかんない。
これまではどうだったんだ。これまでにも和樹が現実化してしまったものはあったはずだろう。そういうのはその後どうなった？現実化したままずっと存在し続けているのか、それとも何かのタイミングで消えたのか。
For some reason, Kazuki smiled. Yeah, why? Her smile was a mix of sadness and resignation. It was the only answer I needed. She seemed to be saying that there was no way we'd be lucky enough that they'd just disappear. Well, that's great.
だったら渋谷はずっとこのままなのか。
Suddenly, I heard the faint noise of a car engine behind me. Just as I spun around. Oh, fuck, dude. I heard the roar of a beast drown it out. I looked down the hill and...
おいおい。
I saw a patrol car barreling toward us at top speed. Behind were five or so monsters, holy shit, storming after it.
なんだよあれ。
There were other monsters? And they weren't just wandering around near the portal device, excuse me, but moving around the city? All 5 of them were the same types as the ones near the portal. 3 were hairy giants, and 2 were dragons.
っていうか、こっちに来る。
And they were pretty fast too. Even the cop car couldn't shake them off. Wait, that meant the car was bringing the monsters to us.
円数と同じ。トレイン行為やるプレイヤーはクズまたはバカかも。
I didn't know if it was a common thing that people did, but I understood the nuance.
隠れよう、やり過ごすんだ。
I pulled Kazuki by the hand and ran down the stairs to a shop that sold grilled beef tongue. That is oddly specific. At the bottom of the stairs was the entrance to the store, but all the lights were off inside. We would hide inside and wait for them to pass. I couldn't see what was going on outside from here. My only option was to rely on the sound. I could hear the sound of the police car and the sound of the monster's footsteps shaking the earth. Kazuki gripped my hand tight. They'd already found us. Just imagining it made me shiver. I didn't think those huge monsters could fit down the tiny stairs, but was hiding down here a good idea? There was nowhere to run. Kazuki and I instinctively clutched each other tightly, holding our breath and concentrating on the sounds outside. I could hear the squeal of tires as the patrol car turned down the intersection in front of us. The monsters howled again. The earth shook even more violently. Please don't notice us. Me, whenever I play like a first-person shooter, I'm trying to hella hide. I think PUBG was like a good one there. Just hella hide. All I could do was pray. That too. The sounds got further away. That's good. I couldn't hear the police car either. That or they're all just waiting outside. It was then that I realized that Kazuki was clinging to me, or more specifically, I was clinging to her. I'd been holding her so tight that her chest was heaving up and down in pain. I quickly backed away. Kazuki fidgeted a little and took several deep breaths. Minamikata Kenji, the Cool Cat Press author, would have been able to come up with the perfect dandy remark to say at a time like this, I bet. Why are we thinking about Cool Cat Press when there are fucking monsters roaming the streets? I guess, all hail Cool Cat Press. I walked up the stairs and took another look at the portal device in front of Parku. The monsters were gone. The police car had drawn away 3 monsters that were around the device. We might be able to make it past now. The two of us looked at one another and out from the stairs. But as we tried to run down Spain Hill, we saw something and froze. The portal device was shining with a strange golden light. Oh, great. I could heard a sound. Okay. I think that's the first mistake that I've noticed here with the translation, which by the way is fixed by that patch. So, shrugs. I could hear a loud noise like clashing metal. I watched in shock as the light around the portal device began to coalesce into a monster. Or coalesce, excuse me. It was the same thing I'd seen on the news, which meant that I motioned to Kazuki and we quickly turned back. By the time we made it back to the school, we were both too out of breath to run anymore. This is going smoothly. Were the monsters just going to keep appearing? If so, then maybe no one would be able to live in Shibuya anymore. And it would be our fault. I suddenly heard a brief blast from a siren. It was another patrol car. Was it the one that had been training the monsters earlier? But I didn't see any monsters around. The patrol car stopped in front of us, excuse me. The driver's side window opened and the officer within spoke to us. Kazuki and I both nodded. I didn't know which way it had gone since I hadn't seen it myself. As we stood there in silence, the policeman motioned to us. This is so weird. Like, it's so bizarre just what's happening right now. It's like I'm not even playing Chaos Child anymore. I'm just playing something totally different. I almost told him that he should blame the patrol car that had been training back there, but I changed my mind. The policeman was risking his life trying to protect us. He was fighting to get people out of the city, even if it meant facing the risk of being attacked by monsters. I couldn't turn him down just because I wanted to continue my investigations. The next day, we all gathered in the clubroom. Ito had come all the way around from Harajuku, he'd said. It wasn't safe to walk around in Shibuya anymore. The school itself was supposed to be closed, which made sense because of the portal device on the roof. but strangely no monsters had appeared from the school's portal device. I didn't know why though. Yeah, that is peculiar. Kirisu looked pale. Whenever I looked at her, she was silent and concerned. That was a normal reaction to what was happening in Shibuya, I thought. For his part, Ito didn't look tired at all. Whenever my eyes met his, he would poke me with his elbow.
おいおい。お前、和樹といつの間にそういう関係になってたんだよ。
そういう関係って？
とぼけんなって。お前はリア充じゃないと思ってたのに、まんまと抜け駆けしやがってこの子の。それにしても、尾上でも女帝でもなく和樹とはな。ああいうのが趣味だったとは意外だぜ。やっぱあれか？スルメの口移しとかしてイチャイチャしてんのか？イカってところがエロいな。くっそー！
That's pretty weird. What the hell was he talking about? Was he stupid?
伊藤くん?
Yeah, honestly, this isn't the time for like, you know, a rom-com or anything. Not this route. Kirisu glared at him. The ice in her stare was well below freezing.
そういうゲスな話をするなら、今すぐ出てってくれる？
すいません。
Kirisu sighed and opened her bag. She'd brought an especially big bag today. She took some wrapped up boxes out of the bag and put them on the table.
和樹と一緒に後で食べなさい。
I unwrapped them and saw that they contained sandwiches.
別にいいのに。
いいのにじゃないでしょ。コンビニやスーパーがいつも通りに空いてると思ってるの？油断していると食事に困って大変なことになるわよ。
To be honest, I was incredibly grateful. Just like Kirisu had said, none of the stores were open. Last night, we'd had to go all the way to Tomagaya.
あと来てないのは尾上だけか？大丈夫かよ。
He was right, Serika wasn't here. I had just set the meeting time to around noon, so it wasn't like she was late, but I was still worried. Shibuya was swarming with monsters right now. If one of them attacked her on the way to school... Just as I was thinking about going to look for her, the door to the club room flung open and Serika came running in.
ああ、みんなもう勢ぞろいしてる。
Yeah.
遅刻しちゃった？
Kinda.
遅れるなら連絡しなさい。状況が状況なのよ。ごめん。誰もいない学校ってワクワクしない？ついつい体育館の方までぐるっと回ってきちゃった。
Was that why she was late? I didn't know whether she was brave, thoughtless, or just dumb. I didn't know how she could laugh at a time like this.
ああ、ねえ、ひなちゃんは呼ばなくてよかったの？
なんで有村？
She wasn't part of the newspaper club.
手から火を出す人に襲われたんでしょ？あれと関係してるのかなって。
関係はしてるけれど、していないって言った方が正しいかもな。
それ日本語になってないぞ。
少なくともあの女はもう僕らを襲ってこないと思う。
I wasn't sure that I'd ever see her again, but...
有村はあの日大丈夫だったんだよな。
うん、私たちがずっと一緒にいたから。その日は有村さんも青葉寮に泊まらせたの。
Well, that's good.
翌朝にはだいぶ落ち着いたようだったから帰らせたんだけど。
Then there was no need to worry about her.
さて、それじゃあ始めさせてもらっていいか。昨日みんなに頼んで渋谷のあちこちを調査してもらったわけだけど、今渋谷にはいくつポータル装置が出現しているのか、それをまとめたいんだ。
I explained to everyone that they were called portal devices because they came from a game called ESO2.
よくわかんない。 もっとちゃんと説明してくれないとちんぷんかんぷんだよ。どうしてそのなんとか装置ってのが花ちゃんやタクに関係してるの？
尾上には説明しなくても大丈夫じゃないか。だってどっちにしろわからないんだから。
ああ、そっか。
Okay. Like, I can't believe she just went with that. Okay, alright. That was good enough for her.
でも一応聞きたいよ。タクル、ちゃんと説明しなさい。
I think the thing is here is that the real Serica wants to know, but she has to continue to play dumb. But, yeah.
人が死んでいるのよ。しかもたくさん。あの化け物は何なの？
ああ、俺も見た。パトカーを襲ってた。それと最初に生中継された例のニュースも。ありゃ、なんだ？
モンスターだ。文字通り。時間を追うごとに増殖している。
増えてるって？マジかよ。
遺体があちこちに放置されていた。あんなひどい。それがあなたたちのせいだと言うなら説明して。
I might be able to talk my way out of explaining things to Serica or Ito, but it wasn't going to work on Kirisu. I'd said on the phone yesterday that the portal devices and monsters might be my fault after all. Come on, we gotta explain it to them if they're gonna help out. Kazuki was standing in front of the whiteboard, staring down at her feet. It wouldn't be right to not explain. After all that had happened, there was no way I'd be able to keep it a secret. It would probably be better to just explain things to the people in the newspaper club. And so I told them everything, including the secret of Kazuki's power. At first, no one seemed to know how to react. Then they all looked astonished. I thought Ito would tell me to stop joking around, but by the time I was halfway done, he was holding his head in his hands.
マジかよ。お前らシャレにならないだろ。
信じるのか？
信じるさ。宮代と和樹が急接近した理由がずっと謎だったんだ。だって宮代が和樹を口説くなんて絶対想像つかないだろ。でも今の説明でやっと納得した。
注目するところはそこなの？
Yeah, I think he's not getting the correct idea out of that.
何にせよ、この件に関しては真意を議論するつもりはない。今はポータル装置のことを優先させてくれ。
Everyone nodded.
それじゃあ一人ずつ報告していくか。どこでそのポータル装置だっけ？それを見かけたか？
実は昨日調査中に警察に見つかってパトカーに乗せられたんだけれど、その時に警察が掴んでいる情報を教えてもらったんだ。みんなから報告を受けた後で照合してみる。
じゃあ俺からな。俺は2つ見つけた。恵比寿から渋谷駅に向かって明治通りをずっと歩いていったら、渋谷警察署の手前に1つ浮かんでた。
Right in front of Shibuya Police Station, huh?
慌てて渋谷川を渡って桜ヶ丘町の方に逃げたよ。で、六本木通りを渡ろうとしたら、今度は南口のバスターミナルにもあった。
The South Exit Bus Terminal.
あのモンスター、すげえキモいな。もやい像が動き出したのかと思った。
明治通りの渋谷警察署手前と駅南口のバスターミナルだな。
I should mark this on the map. Oh no, this is the oh man, this is the map trigger. Okay, so apparently the game is actually not translated, I guess you could say. And, or at least at this part, the map is not translated unless you're using this patch. So, let's see if I know how to read a map. there is, let's see, over here on the right, I see Meiji Street. Okay, yeah, right here is Meiji Street. But I don't see a police station, unless it's supposed to be like the police station and then down Meiji Street, but I don't see that. And I also don't know how to read maps apparently, because I'm just not seeing a police station anywhere near this marker. So what I might have to do, because I am really stupid, is you know, maybe, just maybe, have to look this up. But where was the other one? The South Exit Bus Terminal at Shibuya Station. Well, this is, I mean, this is one, for sure. At least I think. I don't want to mark anything, because I might be wrong. But yeah, all these markers, I'm not seeing anything that looks like a police station. Like, I might just be completely blind, guys. If I am, then totally, like, hit me or something, but that's not at all what I wanted to do. So I'm gonna look this up just in case, because I am a little bit of a baboon and I don't want to accidentally get the bad ending, because I'm, you know, that, like, I'm pretty dense normally, but I don't want to get the bad ending because of how dense I usually can be. So hold on a second. Okay guys, I actually am really blind. Like, yeah, here's the police station right here actually. It's just right there. Tight. And right here is exactly that. It's the South Shibuya Station Terminal. So I had that one right for sure. It's just, man, I am really blind. It says it right there. Like, come on.
お前たちはどうだった？
2つ見つけたよ。ああ、でもそのうち1個は昨日の昼のニュースで中継されてたところだけど。
それってサインシティの裏だったな。
Sign City was a pair of buildings right on the west side of Shibuya Station. It was a hotel and office complex with its own private railroad. It had survived the earthquake 6 years ago.
ええ、道玄坂を上がっていく途中で小さな路地を入る。
In Dongenzaka, huh?
もう1個は107のすぐ目の前。
道玄坂の途中と。
Tight.
107の目の前。
I should mark that information down too. Yeah, I get the drill. Okay, so the 107. Oh, it says it right there, 107. And does that correlate with what's on my phone? Yes, it does. God bless America. Wow, guys. I could, like, read a map 66.67% of the time.
僕が警察から聞いた情報と一致してる。僕らが直接見つけたのは1個。パルク前にあった。
Tight.
警察はポータル装置を中心とした半径約100メートルのエリアがモンスターの行動範囲だって考えてるみたいだ。
That was probably just as close as any of them dared to get. Of course, there was a chance that even if you got that close, the monsters wouldn't see you, or that they'd attack you. Oh, excuse me, or that they'd attack you outside of that area. Goddamn.
警察はポータル装置の場所を全部掴んでるのか？
ああ、みんなが見つけたもの以外だと。
And then there's the one at the school, remember that. Yep, there it is. So does this, like, create some sort of picture on the map or something? Like, what are we getting out of this? And this seems about right.
へえ。
駅をぐるっと取り囲んでるみたいだな。
なんか意味があるのかな。
Does it mean anything?
渋谷にいる人たちに駅を使わせたくないとか？
どうして？
それは俺に聞かないでくれよ。
ねえ花ちゃん、どうしてなのかわかる
Kazuki was still staring at her feet.
ああ、ごめん。花ちゃんが悪いって言ってるんじゃないよ。ただ、どうしてかなって不思議だっただけ。
意図なんてないよ。すべては偶然の産物だ。
I spoke as if to reprove Sarika, or to reprove, whatever that meant. But it was just as Nightheart had told me.
説明しただろ。和樹の能力はコントロールできない。人がよく通る場所に装置が出現しているのがその証拠だ。そういう場所の方が和樹の妄想がより反響しやすい。
なるほど。
Don't tilt your head in confusion when you say you understand. You don't understand at all. Nah, she gets it.
でもまずいよな。
We all know she gets it.
まずいって何が？
ヒカリオにさ、人がたくさん集まって立てこもってるらしいんだよ。
え？一体誰が？駅に残ってた人たちは避難させるって話じゃなかったか？
Shibuya had been put under a heavy curfew yesterday. The police had gone around evacuating anyone they could find. Last night, all the train companies had stopped transit to Shibuya Station. They weren't sure the station would be safe. The station had been shut down and the shutters lowered. A lot of people had been trapped then, and there was a big debate online about how to get them out. As of this morning, one of the railroad companies had put together a desperate plan to send a train to the station and get the people out.
それとは別に、あえて避難しなかった連中がヒカリオにも集まってるんだと。ほら、宮下公園にホームレスがいっぱいいただろう。あの辺の連中だよ。
なるほどな。あそこにいた人たち、みんな帰る場所がないから。
Then was Gen there too? Who knew how safe it would be?
駅って封鎖されているのよね。なんだか6年前みたい。そう思わない？タク。
そういうこと言うなよ。
A month ago, I would have been so excited, but only because I wasn't directly involved. But now things were different. I was partially to blame for this. I couldn't feel any excitement at all. Nope, only fear. We all tried to come up with plans to fix things, but no one had any real ideas. We knew the answer from the beginning. Since there was no way to control Kazuki's power, there was no way for her to get rid of her delusions. After about 2 hours, we started to realize that it might not be safe to stay at school and decided to head home.
タクル、あなた帰る場所ないでしょ？うちに戻ってきたら？
No. That man is there. By home, she meant Alba Dorm. She was right that I couldn't go back to Miyashita Park. There might be monsters there now.
タクって今、花ちゃんの部屋にいるんだよね。うん。
やらしいよな。
Shut up, Daru. Kazuki shook her head furiously.
なあ宮代、風呂とか入ってるのか？脱衣所で風呂上がりにばったりみたいなラッキースケベイベントには遭遇したか？
That was all Ito seemed to care about.
伊藤君。
Yeah, people are hella dying and everything, but it's like, oh hey, have these accidental anime scenes occurred?
そういうの本当にあるのかな？
だってずっと一緒にいるんだぜ。それぐらいのハプニングはあっても。
Kazuki's face turned bright red as she pounded the wall.
そういうのはないと。そうか。そりゃ悪かった。
It was rare to see Kazuki so upset. I mean, there's a lot going on.
それでタクル、どうするの？うちに来る？
いや、行かない。和樹を一人にはできない。
Hell yeah.
だったら、二人とも来ればいいわ。
それもダメだ。寮に危険が及ぶ可能性だってある。
そんなことは。タク、それでいいの？
あ。
そっか。それじゃあ私たちは帰ろう。ほら、のんちゃんも。あ、ちょっとセリカ。タク、花ちゃん、バイバイ。
Serika smiled and waved and then grabbed Ito and Kirisu by the hand and went to leave the room.
タクル、カズキのこと頼むわよ。何かあったらすぐに私に連絡することいい？
あ、なあ。
We're a man of few words. Kirisu looked like she wanted to say more, but Serika dragged her out of the room before she could. Kazuki and I were left alone in the club room.
勝手に決めたけど、よかったかな。もう部屋に入れたくないならそう言ってほしいんだけど。
She shook her head again. That was all she'd been doing lately.
でも。
But then she suddenly started to talk. She'd been so insistent about not talking when everyone else was around. Did that mean that she trusted me?
セリカ先輩のこといいの？
いいのって？
タクル先輩が私の部屋来るとセリカ先輩怒るかも。
なんで？
だってタクル先輩とセリカ先輩付き合ってるんでしょ？
は？いや付き合ってないし。
Damn, did she have like the wrong idea this entire time?
だっていつも一緒だったかもだから。
それは幼馴染だからってだけだ。
付き合ってないんだ。知らなかったかも。
I know we're not supposed to consider like the main plot and everything that we've kind of been through like too heavily, but man, it's hard not to because it's all fake. It's all a lie. Had Kazuki gotten mad back there because she didn't want Serika misunderstanding things? If so, then she'd been wasting her time.
それにしても、和樹がそんな誤解をしていたなんてな。少し意外だ。他人に興味なさそうに見えたから。さてと、僕たちもそろそろ帰ろう。ここも危ないだろうから。
God damn it. But then I realized Kazuki had sat down at the PC to play ESO2. And then she had her headphones on.
っていつの間にゲーム始めてた？
Sheesh. She must have been really excited to play her game. Kazuki's gaze was locked on the monitor. She didn't look away for an instant. Her concentration was palpable. If I interrupted her, she might punch me instead of the wall. Nah, she wouldn't do that. Hopefully. It wouldn't hurt to let her play for a while. Hey man, it's good to unwind. Since I didn't have much to do while she was playing her game, I decided to go up to the roof. Of course, I didn't go to the back. I just went up past the crumbling stairs to look outside. The portal device was still floating out there. But unlike the one in front of Parku, there were no bodies anywhere, just a single red stain on the floor. Were monsters not going to appear from this one? I felt an indescribable terror welling up within me. It was so scary being here alone. I ran back to the club room. Damn, we did not last a while there. So much for that little investigation. I wanted to see if there were like any differences. Once Kazuki started her game, she wouldn't take her headphones off no matter how much I yelled at her. She was totally lost within her game, and had totally forgotten I'd ever existed. And that's right. That's who Kazuki Hana was. She wouldn't normally use her power to save me, regardless of the risks, or let me stay in her room. Normally this was who she was. I'd been living with her in the same room for a few days, and so I'd forgotten that. Still, I was amazed how she could play a game for so long without any breaks. I could not do that. I can't. Maybe back when I was a kid, but not now. Didn't she ever need to go to the bathroom? Actually, I remember that Cool Cat Press had once done an article on gamers who never left their seats. They'd said a true gamer would rather keep playing than take the time to go to the bathroom. So if they had to go, they used a plastic soda bottle, or something like that. When I'd seen the article, I thought it had to be fiction. It's not. It's not. They do that. It's gross. But watching Kazuki, I wasn't so sure. Wait, did Kazuki ever go in soda bottles? I hope not.
いやいやいや、何変なことを考えてるんだ僕は。
All hail Cool Cat Press. Ever since I'd started living in the same room as her, I'd started having more and more delusions like that. Maybe it was just because I was a boy undergoing puberty. But later I'd come to hate myself for feeling that way, given all that was going on. Uh-oh. A huge noise almost caused me to jump in the air. Or jump up in the air. Kazuki had hit the wall again. What had happened this time to upset her? I looked outside the window. The sky was turning red, symbolizing death and everything else. It was surprisingly noisy outside. There wasn't a single person inside or outside the school, but the noise was coming from the police sirens on the ground and media helicopters up above. The media had decided it was too risky to head into Shibuya directly, so they were forced to do the reporting from the sky. Still, it felt like they'd been there all day, from morning to night. I was amazed they hadn't gotten bored. Without anyone here in Shibuya, it wasn't like there was anything that could happen. What's that noise? Then I thought I heard a different noise than the sound of the helicopter rotors. I held my breath and listened. It didn't seem like I was imagining it. I could hear the sound. It was a sound I'd normally never pay attention to, but a sound that I definitely shouldn't have heard in this building. Someone's footsteps were coming down the hall. That was enough to bring back my memory of several days ago. Was that woman still alive? Particularly nasty sweat started to pour out of my body. I tried my best not to make a sound as I concentrated all my focus into my ears. I don't like concentrating on one sense. It makes things scarier. The footsteps didn't sound like the person was wearing heels. I didn't hear any dragging. It wasn't that woman. At least, that's what I wanted to believe. But then who? Was someone besides us in the school? But who? The others had gone home hours ago. Had they come back? But then wouldn't they call or text me first? I peeked into the teacher's office when I'd arrived, and there was no one there. The only other possibility I could think of was that someone besides us had ignored the police warning and stayed in Shibuya. The footsteps were getting closer. I tapped Kazuki on the shoulder and made her take off her headphones.
誰かが来る。
Who could it be? Place your bets. What should we do? Hide? Run out into the hallway? They probably knew we were here. Nobody would come all the way to the 5th floor of this building otherwise. But then who could they be? Maybe the mastermind who was controlling that woman? If that was the case, it would be a bad idea to try and hide. But it didn't seem like Kazuki and I would be able to fight them. We had to run. It was better than hiding.
カズキ、逃げるぞ。
I saw Kazuki nod, then took a deep breath and opened the door. I ran out into the hallway, but there was someone standing there and I ran straight into them. I lost my balance and almost fell over. Someone grabbed my hand as it flailed out into the air. Is it Shinjo?
大丈夫？
Nope, it's this guy with the blondish hair and the glasses. It was only then that I realized who it was.
涌井先生。
Hey, at least I was right about the hair color.
いやー、君たちだったのか。
We don't see a lot of him. Like, I'm pretty sure the last time I remember getting a good look of him was when he decided to when he told us that there was a decision to shut down the club, but then that never happened. Oh wait, no, it's when he was going to drive us to the police station. The language teacher, who was also the advisor for the newspaper club and student council, looked at us both and grinned.
一部の保護者から連絡があってね。
Wakui nibbled on the dried squid Kazuki offered him as he explained.
ニュースで渋谷の空撮映像が流れていたんだ。そこでちょうどここが映った時に人影が見えたって。それで僕がこうして様子を見に来たわけだよ。まったく人使い荒いよね。
Damn, maybe we should have closed the curtains or something? All I could do was laugh. It was just like Wakui to end up being forced into coming here because he couldn't bring himself to refuse. We'd managed to make it here because we knew a lot about the situation in Shibuya, but Wakui must have come without doing any research at all. Wrong-siders like him were always the first to die. Too much time in peaceful Japan had addled his brain.
一体何をしていたんだい？危ないから休校になっているのに。
Yeah. Alright, we're gonna wrap it up here. I'm honestly kind of, tired. I don't know if you guys could tell. It's really hard to with my voice, but I'm a little out of it. I'm a little tired, and I don't want to say exhausted, but I had an eventful night last night, so I'm still kind of out of it, sort of. I've noticed I'm a little, not dizzy, but not fully here, I guess you can say. I won't say any more else about that, but I will say that I got like 12 hours of sleep and it was awful. Like, it was nice to get a lot of sleep, but also awful because laying down that long is not fun. I really got to do something with my life. But anyways, thank you guys for watching this episode. Again, lots of weirdness going on. Like, it's all craziness. It's very nutty, but it's like totally different from what we've seen out of Chaos Child thus far. Maybe it's because of the monsters and they're just being monsters. I'm not exactly sure, but it's definitely pretty nutty and in a very different way. But anyways, thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. If you did, please leave a like, subscribe if you want, and I will see you guys in the next one. Take it easy.